lot of the queer community have been patiently waiting for a queer president in America. But what if I say that we already had one? A lot of my peers, including you guys, barely think twice about America's history having queerness in it, and today I'm here to debunk that. Now personally, I think I have a fantastic gaydar, and if you don't know what that is, it's essentially an individual who's pretty good at telling when somebody is queer or not. Gaydar, radar, makes sense. I also have been doing a lot of research on my topic for the past month, and I find myself credible to persuade you all today. I will be talking about why President Abraham Lincoln was indeed gay, and I will be breaking it up into 3 different points. First, I will talk about the problems on why people assume Lincoln is straight with evidence to back up why that's wrong. Second, the causes and barriers schools have put on queer history. And lastly, I will give you guys some action steps that you can all take. Now, people simply refuse to believe that Abraham could be gay because he had a wife and kids. And I guess that makes sense. If you see a man with his wife and kids, it really paints the picture of straight. But I think these people also forget that affairs are a thing, and I think Lincoln definitely had many of those. One of his most rumored affairs was with a store owner named Joshua Speed, and these two spent 4 consecutive years living together. They were living together in their early adulthood lives. Now, we all know in our early adulthood, it's a time of self-discovery and self-journey, and I think these two definitely did that. Somewhere in this time they were living together, Joshua had to go back home for an arranged marriage, and coincidentally, Lincoln was also getting married around this time. While they were having their anxiety and nervousness about their own weddings, they decided to start sending letters to each other to let off some steam. And these letters proved to be the biggest evidence we have today about their romantic relationships. In one of the letters, Abraham wrote to Joshua, "You know my desire to befriend you is everlasting, that I will never cease while I know how to do anything." I personally think this was a secret love confession. You can't really be direct in the 1800s, and this was a personal note that only Joshua would understand, while the outside world wouldn't. He basically said that he would cease to exist without his friendship. Now, I've never seen an article on him saying this about his wife. At the end of the letter, he wrote, "Yours forever, Abraham Lincoln," and he wrote a PS saying, "I've been a lonely man since you left." Come on, guys. If this wasn't the 1800s, I think they definitely would have tried dating. They might have not stayed together, but I definitely think they would have been a couple for a couple of months. Because of the heteronormativity in the 1800s, they didn't really get a chance to do this, unfortunately, but I definitely think that they had a spark. And if you need more evidence, when Abraham Lincoln was president, he had a bodyguard named Bill Green. Bill Green slept in the same bed with Abraham Lincoln. Why would a bodyguard sleep with the person he's guarding? That just feels a little too protective, if you ask me. And at some point, Bill Green said that Abraham's thighs were as perfect as could be. Enough said. Even with all of this evidence we've gathered from the 1800s, people still have causes and barriers to not believe my statements. One of the biggest causes for this is actually our own parents. Parents have a big say in the 12 through K education school system, and because of this, we've been limited on queer history. Let me explain. On a Harris poll, it stated that 73% of parents said that they felt highly uncomfortable with their kids learning about queer history in school. This not only erases a huge part of history in America, but it also diminishes the child's knowledge. When was the last time you learned about queer history in high school or middle school? It was probably never. This might even be the first time you're learning about a little bit of queer history, because it's a really uncomfortable topic and it seems inappropriate. But why should it be inappropriate when we talk about straight couples all the time in high school? Does anybody know what the Don't Say Gay bill is? For those who don't know, it's a bill that was placed in Florida in 2022 that's supposed to empower parents and give them a say in their children's education. But these parents took it into their hands to completely diminish queer history teachings in Florida, and they can't even say the word gay anymore. This fills me with a lot of sadness personally, because even though it seems really far away because it's in Florida, we don't know when it could start spreading to other states, even California. It completely erases people's identities, and it feels like we're digressing as a whole, which is really sad. Parents also have a huge influence on what teachers want to teach. A lot of teachers say that they feel really uncomfortable teaching gay topics because they're scared of the backlash of parents, not because they don't want to teach it. This is really sad because imagine a queer teacher wanting to teach about their history, but they simply can't because they don't want to be fired. It completely erases their identity, and it also takes away the freedom that they're supposed to have in their own classroom. But education doesn't have to stay stale and bland like this, and we can get to a point where I don't even have to convince you that Abraham was gay. We are the future, is what we've been told our entire lives, but we're getting to a point where our kids or our siblings' kids are going to start being the future. Do you want your kids to be in an education system that's completely white and straight? I don't think so. It's time that we start standing up for what we want for our education and for our kids' future, so they can have a more well-rounded understanding of our world and be more prepared when they have to leave. And if you want to learn more about Abraham Lincoln's sexuality, I would highly suggest that you read The Intimate World of Abraham Lincoln. Today, I've talked about why Abraham Lincoln was gay, and I broke it up in 3 points. The problems on why people assume he's straight, the causes and barriers for children's education, and lastly, I gave you guys some inspirational words and some action steps we can all take. So next time you see a celebrity like Marilyn Monroe, Kim Kardashian, or even Elon Musk, just think to yourself, could they be having a gay affair? You never know. Thank you.